This is the plaintiff, LaToya Frazier. She says she loaned her good friend, the defendant, who she's known since third grade, money because she was unemployed. Well, their friends know more, that's for sure, because the girl hasn't paid her back, and it's been 4 years now. Some friend indeed. She's suing for $704, the amount due. This is the defendant, Danielle Barino. She says, holy cow, this girl is crazy. She didn't loan her any money. She gave it to her because she got a new job and she boasted about making $45,000 a year. She's going to fight for her rights today and feels the judge will side with her. She's accused of losing a friend.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
LaToya Frazier?
Yes.
You are suing your former friend, Danielle Barino?
Yes.
For $704 in loans, a parking ticket, and clothing items that you say throughout the course of your friendship she was supposed to repay you for and hasn't. What's going on?
I've known the defendant since about third grade. We've been best friends, inseparable for a long time. About 2008, 2009, we were both unemployed, going through financial issues. Hers were a bit more dire than mine because she had her apartment, her car. Me, I was taken care of by my daughter's father, so I didn't really want for anything. I had an account with Wachovia years ago when I was working downtown, and I closed my account due to an overdraft fee that they say I owed, but they waited a month and a half to cash a check that I had given them a while ago to cash for rent, but they waited until multiple things hit the account so the account would go over, and I disputed it. I paid it, but it took like a year and a half for the bank to recognize that I paid the red flag fee, for me to be able to open my own account. I had gotten my money for school.
Are you trying to explain to me why you take money and put it in her account?
Yes.
Okay, you didn't have creditors chasing you and a judgment against you or the tax man looking for you?
No, it was just I had an account.
That's usually why I find people don't want to put money in their own account or child support.
Oh, no child support.
Okay.
No. So due to that bank thing, I asked her, since I had gotten my school loan, could she put the money in her account since I couldn't open my own. I gave her $790 to put in the account, and it was just left in the account. She ran into some complications where she wasn't able to pay all of her rent and I think a car note. And she stated that she had got a notice on her door letting her know that she had to pay the rent by a certain date. I said, she called me, and we usually spoke on the phone every day. She let me know the issue, and I told her, well, there's money in your account. I'm not using it right now. It's not a dire need for me to have it right now. It's not anything for me to loan it to you right now. She was like, are you sure? I was like, whatever you want to do with it, however you want to do it with it. Do what you need to do. Let me know afterwards what you spent. And when you get back on your feet, that's when you'll pay me back. I'm not going to hound you.
So how much did she take according to you?
She said that she took $550. That was to pay off whatever she needed to pay. I don't know if it was for just rent or it was for both rent and car.
All right.
I'm not
and then
quite sure.
At some point, you guys get into a rocky patch there, and you end up parting your friendship. Why was that?
We went to South Beach with a group of girls, our friends. We all went to South Beach that summer. In South Beach, me and her had a falling out over an ordeal with her and her sister that I didn't primarily agree with, and she thought that I should be on her side and be mad at her sister as well. But I'm not a person of that nature.
Yeah, but you've been friends since third grade. A disagreement on vacation in South Beach one time.
It was just other events
cost
leading
your
up.
Friendship?
No, it was other events leading up to that. That was probably the breaking point at South Point, I should say. South Beach was the kicker in I guess, both of our lives for us to part ways.
So you're also suing her for a jacket and some shoes. What is that about?
The jacket, trivial, shoes as well, but principle behind it. I had stuff at her house. Me and her go shopping at Mandy's every now and again. We'll have stuff at her house. I had stuff that I wanted to take back, but I didn't take it back at that point in time. In that time frame, we had a really big flood. It rained really bad, and it flooded in front of her building.
Wait a second. When was this in relation to when you stopped talking to each other?
This was prior to us stop speaking.
I understand that. I want to know how long prior to it.
The jacket was probably about 6 months.
And what about the shoes?
The shoes,
They're
same
$9
thing.
shoes. Are they a whole shoe?
No.
Okay.
It was a shoe that I got on. The shoes were left at
Why
her
are
house.
you suing for a $9 pair of shoes?
The shoes are
from
included.
3 years ago or 4 years ago.
Because the shoes were left at her house because they were too big for me. I was going to go to the store and get store credit. I got them on sale. She wore them, was like, they're my size. You didn't need them. They were only $9. I'm like, it's the principle behind it. If you leave something at my house.
Yeah, but you stayed friends after that.
We didn't stay friends after that.
You didn't stop being friends over the $9 pair of shoes.
No, we didn't stop being friends over the $9
South Beach was well after the $9 pair of shoes.
It was in the midst of us.
It's just that now that you're suing, you're going to bring up every little thing that happened between you two.
No, it's not every little thing that happened between us. This was in the course
Tell me
of
about
us.
the parking ticket.
The parking ticket was for her school. We went to her school. She had some business to take care of. We were both upstairs while she was talking to her advisor.
Okay.
I go downstairs. The guy had already did the ticket. He said he couldn't give it back.
When did that happen?
That happened in the summer. I'm not quite sure when.
What summer?
Summer of 2008.
2008.
These litigants knew each other since 3rd grade. Now they're locked in the most trivial legal battle. The plaintiff is suing over a $9 pair of shoes in addition to other stuff. There's got to be more to this. Let's listen.
What's going on? She says that she had money in your account. You knew it was her money. You used it when you needed it, and then you never repaid it. What's going on?
The plaintiff actually never told me that I had to pay her money back, and I never used what she's claiming. It went from $550 to $700 now, which I have a text message to prove it. She, at the time, it was not about my apartment. It was not about my car note. It was strictly about school and a cable bill. I said to her, listen, my cable is going to be cut off. I did not ask her for the money. I was telling her the situation. She offered and said, oh, you know what? Don't worry about it. You're my best friend. I'll give you the money. I said, well, I don't have it right now to give back to you. She said, do not worry about it. I'm making $45,000 a year now. I don't need the money back. So I said, fine.
Ever?
No, that's exactly what she said. That's exactly the way she said it. I do not need it back. Now, I went to my uncle and he gave me tuition money to get back in school, which he actually wrote a statement about. And he gave me $310. The $238 that I used, I said to her when she brought this up after we were no longer friends for almost a year, she brought it up and I said, well, listen.
Did you use $550 or $238?
$238.
How do you remember?
Because it was a cable bill. I know exactly when it was going to get cut off because that was the only time. It was a backed up bill for 2 months. And I said to her, you know what? I'll just use that and that's it.
Do you have a statement from your uncle?
Yes.
Is there a text between you two back in the day of 4 years ago that tells me, that'll shed some light on whether it was $550 or
I have a text message from her that's in March
of what year?
This year.
Saying does it say how much money?
No, not stating how much the money is, but that she was going to work out a payment plan with me.
Oh, for the $250.
You never said it was $250.
I did tell you $250, and she rounded it off to $300. We had a phone conversation, and after that, I sent her a text message, and I said we could talk about I had a phone conversation. I said we can meet about the $250. She texted me back and said it's funny how now you're saying $300 when you owe me $550, but she sold me today for $700. So I said to her, I don't owe you that much. I only use the money for my payment on a cable bill. She never had mentioned this to me before. Last year,
why should she pay your cable bill or your parking ticket? In other words, why would
she didn't pay a parking ticket either. She did not pay a parking ticket.
Do you have any evidence that you paid a parking ticket?
Everything was taken out of that account for her.
Do you have any evidence at all? Like an email or show me the text that you have. I'm sure it's not going to say anything about parking ticket.
It's not.
Here's a text message.
Is the person next to you moral support or a
moral
witness?
Support, my grandmother.
Okay.
She has nothing to do with the case.
Lord have mercy, you answer. The funny thing is I just told someone I would send you monthly payments of the money you loaned me that I allegedly borrowed or stole, so you say. And their response was, watch she try to take you to court like she did her own blood. Mm-hmm. I laughed and said, probably. LaToya, I don't know what you are going through financially that would make you bring this bull crap up. But at this point, I could care less. You of all people should know I don't get scared by threats. You have become such a lowlife with your mentality that it's a shame. This and all the other reasons are why I would never be your friend again. Please don't talk slick to me anymore. Let's be women or nothing. Okay, these are not helpful. I have one question before me, and the one question before me is this a loan or is this a gift, and how much is this? It would be really helpful if I had bank statements from back then. Does anybody have bank statements?
The account was closed, and because this was short notice, because she sent the summons to my old house.
No. All right.
It's taken a
I would be
while.
really helpful if I had emails back and forth between you guys or texts back and forth from back then, not now when everybody's playing Quien es más macho, but from back then that might elucidate what the nature of the agreement was all those years ago. Does anybody have that? The answer to that would be no.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey 11 here. So why do little things destroy long-term relationships?
I think because we like to nitpick, let us build things up, and we don't react to things when they happen, and then we end up blowing up.
So things get built and built and built, and boom.
Well, I think that people make a big deal out of something that's really small, and people lie about stuff. And
But why in like long-term relationships is pettiness more of a problem? Get back to me. Going inside the courtroom.
Part of why you don't have it is because you waited 4 years to sue. And what happens when you wait 4 years to sue? What somebody in my position who is judging you starts to think is that maybe it wasn't really what she's saying it is. Maybe it wasn't really what she's saying it is, because why would all this time have passed?
The only reason why
That
I
only
waited
became
was-
an issue after you guys had your problem in South Beach. There was no lawsuit before the South Beach thing. It's only after you have the falling out. In fact, many years after you have the falling out. And that's the part that's so strange. All right.
May I say something? The only reason that the time elapsed between the money and the lawsuit was because we were both unemployed. I told her
now
that.
I want you to
were
listen
not.
to me.
We
It didn't
were not.
stop. Both of you stop. It is what it is. Okay? When you come to court, what you are doing is saying to me, Judge, she owes me money, and you've got to prove it. You have the burden of proof. The plaintiff has the burden of proving a case when they come to court. All right? It is your case. This is your case. Did to, did not. The only thing you have going for you is that she admits $238. She says it was a gift, but that she was willing to pay you, and I don't know so much gift or loan, because she's sitting there saying to you, I'll work out a payment plan, I'll pay. But what are you talking about? It was only $238. It was only $238. So the only thing you're able to prove is what she's able to admit in the courtroom, because you can't prove anything else. That's your case. I didn't make you come here empty-handed. It's what happened to you, either because of the passage of time or because there was no proof to begin with. I find in favor of the plaintiff and the amount of the $238 plus your court costs. Good luck, folks. And I got to tell you something. Listen, because I want to tell you something. I don't know how many friends you guys have in your lives and how cheap you value those friends. But I know a precious few that have known me since I was playing with dolls. Because I got to tell you, to throw away a friendship over a couple $100, I don't think either of you are really valuing life the way you need to value it.
And so the plaintiff does win 238. So come on in here. The defendant, what's your feeling about her getting that?
I mean, it is what it is at this point. The friendship has been over for 2 years now. Maybe she can move on. I've definitely moved on, and it's over.
How many friends do you have that go back to third grade?
Maybe one.
Right. Isn't there some serious value to a friend who goes that far back with you?
At this point, too much damage has been done, and this just showed me the kind of friend that she really is. So, it's
All right.
not
All
worth
right.
it.
So that way. All right. So come on in here and tell me what's your feeling on the outcome. You sued for more than 700. You got 238.
I mean, at least something came about it. But at the end of the day, like I said, she knew she owed the money, and it wasn't anything about the time lapse. It had everything to do with we were going back and forth to try to resolve it.
How has your childhood friend, so many years back, changed?
She's a different person. I'm not quite sure who she's trying to be or who she's trying to impress, but I know who she really is.
You're going to miss your old friend?
I'll always miss her. Me and her family go way back. It's no love lost.
Over to Harvey.
Real simple. When money changes hands, there is a presumption that it's a loan. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.